Please, tell me what to do, Lord Hellion. I cannot hear your voice in this forsaken place, and I feel so alone. I will not come back until the job is finished, and I will not fail you, will not waver for an instant. But I long to hear your voice once more, to sing your praises in your hallowed halls, to drag the sheep of Scrapwall kicking and screaming into your flock. I know that I will return to you one day soon, and we will ride together to your rightful throne. All I do to bring that day closer. This is Pod Against the Machine.
Pod Against the Machine.
Welcome back to Pod Against the Machine, the only actual play podcast cool enough to shoot beams of pure magical heat at damaged nuclear reactors. I'm your host, Sam, and here is everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
That went too well. I'm freaked out.
We're level 4 now.
I know. That's how I felt about the boss fight. Went too well.
fair.
Really?
Freaked out.
Oh, I thought you said it thinking it went too well, like the boss fight.
Now,
mean,
after beating
for
her,
us.
we have leveled up to level 5 now, correct?
Yay.
And level 6 we are. And it's a great level for bricks, I'll tell you what.
Why don't you just take a mythic tier where
Dope.
giving stuff
Oh,
out?
another one?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, totally.
You guys have been playing Gestalt this whole time, right? I'm not the only one who's been 2 classes for every level.
Well, when last we left the very capable 4, nothing major happened. They were just kind of hanging out. Then I think they got in a little bit of a ruckus with just a lady with some purple hair. Tempers flared for a minute, but everybody calmed down after she was knocked unconscious. And that's where we are. So...
No, sorry. I'm not going to let this go. For users at home, Sam's background is just mysteriously changed, and he would like us to pretend it's not true, but it is true.
I don't know what you're talking
Sam?
about. This is the room that I'm in.
It shouldn't be. That's not a good place to record. You're gonna die.
You've never recorded from a murder cabin before?
Not once.
See, I've heard Overwhelming Menace is great for acoustics.
Like the Monty Python, the Holy Grail stained glass window there in the back.
The one redeeming factor.
Got these helpful automatons and, broken clock. And weirdly, it's
Is
day.
that Harvey Birdman?
It's always
Always
been
a good
day,
sign.
Sam.
Always day in the cabin.
Okay, so aside from Sam facing inevitable doom, how about the rest of us who are not in terror cabins?
I'm staring down a hurricane, but other than that, great.
I'm waiting for the point where Hetuath comes out again and punches me in the face. Because, yeah.
It's going to be like the Family Guy raccoon. Open up the microwave, raccoon jumps out. We're going to go and press this reactor button on, and it's just going to be, and Hetuath's just going to burst out of it like the Kool-Aid Man.
Scurry on out of there.
He's going to say,
And
oh
punch
yeah! And then knock Brixby out.
Yep.
That
He
happens.
could.
It's coming.
Then we'll finally get to ask him what he meant.
So the current situation that we find ourselves in, the party is in the reactor room of the underground ruin, or under the mountain ruin, and the corpse of Sanville Tret has been transported in here. There is a broken robot that was taken to the ground during last episode, and Kira has just struck Mayanda down, and she has collapsed to the ground, up on a platform a little ways off the ground, and she is unconscious and dying. We are still in initiative, and I believe it is Vargas's turn.
Okay, it has not been 10 minutes since 3 turns ago, so Vargas is still up and conscious. And he just, I'd probably have to roll a knowledge to know this. I was going to say, can you stabilize an android? Like, can I go up there and try to do a heal check? Because I don't have any magical healing.
You can roll a knowledge local.
That is a 15.
With a 15, you are reasonably confident that at least bleeding-wise, she works about the same as a normal living being, and she can probably be stabilized in much the same way.
Okay, so is it possible to climb up this thing so I have to waste 3/4 of my turn going up the ladder?
It'll be a tough climb check as it is like a metal wall, but you can give it a shot.
I got a +3. I'm going to try it. Natural 1, so that is a 4.
So you scramble comically on the wall, but I'm afraid can't get any traction.
Okay, so I guess would that be my move then for this turn? Or?
That's probably a move action, yeah.
Okay. Well, I can use a second move action then to start going towards the ladder, and that'll be the end of his turn. And he'll say out loud, "Don't let her die. We need information."
All right, and that takes us to Mayanda's turn, so she is gonna roll to stabilize, and I don't think that's gonna do it. It is not. So some of her blood leaks out, and she is creeping closer to death, and we are on to Asher.
Oh, man. If only I had a grip point left, I could, double jump up there. It'd be so heroic. But I don't. And I didn't even get the killing blow, so I didn't get that grip back. Remember when I had a grit cloud? Do I have any of that temporary grip? Anyway. Okay. Being as though I cannot conceivably get there this turn, oh boy. To do a vertical jump is bonkers. How high up is the platform?
I believe it is 10 feet.
10 feet. Fantastic. That's a substantial acrobatics DC. 5 feet is 20, so it'd just be a mere DC 40 to jump up 10 feet. So I can't do that. I can, however, make this turn take a real long time. I can move up, however, 5 feet to the northeast, and then another... Well, I guess I'll just move 10 feet to the east, and then climb up that ladder. A ladder's climb DC is what, 5?
Yeah.
If it's anchored to a wall like that one is,
and I can go to move at half speed if I attempt to climb more quickly, which raises the DC by 5. So I would just need to get 10 with a -2 to climb. And I could climb up there at half speed. So that would get me all the way to the top. I'm going to try that. I'm looking to roll a 12 or higher. And I'm going to give this new Sparkling Rosé dice from Dice Envy a go. I just need a 12 or higher. I'm letting the D20 know. You guys know that. If I could just get a 12 or higher. Let's do this. 15 on the dice.
Nice.
So that lets me move up at half speed, which will get me up 10 feet. So right up to the top. And then I'll move down towards her. 5, 10, and I guess just 15, 20, move through her square, and kind of just stand right above her so that if somebody else can get up there faster, I'm not blocking them. And when she pops up with that feat of broken, not beaten, and punches somebody, I'm right there. That's my whole turn. When we edit this, it'll only take like 40 seconds instead of 3.5 minutes. Listeners won't even know.
All right.
It's been like a month since we played.
All right. That brings us to Brixby.
So Brixby can tell that he's not going to be able to get up there in time. And, it's probably best that Brixby isn't the healer, because if he was in Asher's place, he would have just grapnel gunned the android to him and then just healed them on the ground. Maybe killing the android in the moment. So I'm going to focus on a charge that I like a lot more than the robot lady, Vargas. And so he asked me earlier to heal him. Brixby is going to kind of grab Vargas as Vargas is like, don't let her die, and kind of runs by. He's going to put her pot up and just be like, I think Asher's got it. Do you still need healing?
And he's gonna turn and look at you and go, yes, do that again, please. Because everybody remembers from last week, you healed him and he had a vision of his god.
Oh, yeah. Time for more space drugs. All right, so I'm going to roll a couple D100s here. Ooh. 18 and 63.
I'm guessing you're going to want the 63 because that is normal effect, but we need a it's hallucinogenic. We need a fort save from Vargas.
Oh, yeah.
The die with a +7, so that is a 17.
All right, with a 17, Vargas is not confused, but he does see some, weird sparkles around the edges of his vision. Just little hints of the hallucinogenic state, but no full-on vision of Gorham this time.
Okay. What's he get?
He gets, let's see, it is, remind me again, is it 1d8 plus 1?
Yeah.
For this? Alright, cool. I couldn't remember if it was
pure light, I think, right?
Alright, I rolled a 5, so you get a 6.
Nice. So that means when my thing wears off, I will be over my minimum, so I'm not going to immediately pass back out.
Hooray!
Yay!
Good.
That's always fun.
Doing it.
Yeah. And Brix has a slight twinge of guilt of not, opting to heal him earlier when he had asked for healing. So he just looks pleadingly up at him. Hope you're okay. And that's it.
All right, and that brings us to Kira.
What can I possibly do here? I guess I can go poke at the android with everyone else, and by everyone else, I mean Asher. But that's going to require a whole bunch of different moves. Climbing.
You just hook her with the lucerne and pull her down, so Asher has to go chase her.
Get down here!
Hey, come back.
Climbing is a move action.
Yeah.
Do I count as in front of the ladder already?
Yeah, you're adjacent to the ladder, so.
Cool. So, do I need to roll to climb a ladder, or can I just get on up there? Jeff is saying yes.
Yeah, it's a DC 5 climb check. So, if you have a climb skill of 4 or greater, basically, you can't fail.
Well, wouldn't you know it? I have I have 0, but also I rolled a 4, so...
You failed
Just gonna...
climb a ladder.
She stands there and stares at it for a little bit. It's like, better try the other way. Asher, don't die.
That's the plan.
That's I guess that's gonna be it. Yeah, okay, cool.
All right, Vargas again.
Right. Vargas is going to climb the ladder instead of attempting to climb the wall. that is a 11 plus 3. That is a 14 to climb at half speed.
Okay.
So it's 10 feet, right? The
Yeah.
ladder?
So that's plenty to get to the top.
Yeah, so he can get... Yeah, so he can get up with 20, and then the rest of his movement is just going to be however far he can. Yeah, so he can get right next to him, and that'll be his turn. Double move.
All right. We are back up to Mayanda's turn, and she is going to roll to stabilize once more. Well, that's a 19 on the die, so it seems that she has stopped leaking her android pseudo blood. And she's just lying there, apparently no longer in danger of imminently dying.
My work here is done.
Yeah.
Great job, Asher.
Since she's stable, I'm gonna take us out of initiative.
Well, it does seem like it might be both fitting and interesting to inject a robot with robots. If we wanted to use the nanites to heal her, for all I know, they'll be even more effective.
It takes little inducement to bring Brixby over with the nanite gun. Before I jab her, though, we might either want to use some of this zip tape to, restrain her, possibly take away that thing around her neck, Sam? Question mark?
Yeah.
Wherever her holy symbol is.
Yeah, it's around her neck.
I mean,
So
honestly,
put the tape around her neck.
yeah, if she looks pretty stable, this might be a good time to part her from a bunch of her stuff before we even begin to heal her. So maybe take the time to zip tape her and take all of her gear.
I like it.
Yeah. Ion tape her hands, zip stick to activate.
Alright. So she is nicely bound and unconscious, and she's wearing what looks like a chain shirt. She's also got that very snazzy looking spiked gauntlet. She had that gun that she fired at Asher a number of times. Searching her a little bit more, and she's got the silver holy symbol that you believe to be of Hellion, and she's wearing a masterwork backpack, inside of which you find 62 gold, 11 silver discs, what appears to be a gun much like the space drugs gun that you have, but it doesn't look as beat up, for one thing. But it's also got a black stripe on it instead of a brown one. And 2 nanite canisters, which are the fuel for the space drug gun.
So that'd be an engineering to learn about the black stripe nano gun.
Yeah, that would be an engineering.
Hey, nat 20 on the Miami dice.
Nice.
So a 29.
So yeah, this is a black nanite hypogun, and it is not time worn. So much like the time worn brown nanite hypogun you've been using, it can use the nanite cartridges to, when injected into a person, give a healing effect with 1 charge. In this case, 2d8 plus 3 healing. With 1 charge, or if you expend 5 charges, it basically can provide the services of a lesser restoration. So that's
Could the other one do that too?
the other one could do remove sickness, which is one of the most useless spells in the game, with 5 charges.
Well, this is certainly in much better condition than our trusty doctor's equipment we've utilized thus far. It's the healing of a cure moderate wounds potion. And I get the feeling with 5 charges it could even remove ability score damage or something along those lines. I know what an ability score is. We can edit that out. It could help restore our abilities if they've been damaged. That's the one.
Yeah, well, this doesn't look as, addled. He's turning it over in his hands and says, Asher, you can use this without any negative consequence. He kind of looks affectionately at the broken, time-worn gun. This one needs me. My touch.
Somewhere in the distance, a iridescent space dragon cries. You've also got that gun that Meanda was using, which requires both an engineering check and a spellcraft check to examine.
Spellcraft means magical.
So that's my engineering right there. I only rolled an 18 for that one, but I'll throw a spellcraft at it as well.
Better than my engineering. I had a 16 total.
Just can't stop rolling them 7s. Got a 16 for my spellcraft.
No joke, I also rolled a 7 on my engineering.
Ooh, nothing but 7s.
So since we got 3 7s, and we've
You have
played
to
a
roll
casino episode, that means we get the jackpot of information.
Well, you already
That's
know
how it works,
most
it's
of what
rules.
this thing does because Asher was shot with it several times. This is a +1 Inferno pistol. An Inferno pistol is a less refined variant of a longer range laser pistol. Unlike a laser pistol, which uses an intensely focused beam of light to burn a target, an Inferno pistol is much less elegant. It generates a blob of molten red-hot metal and fires what appears to be a burning pellet with a soft hissing sound. This material is consumed upon firing, leaving behind nothing but ash and painful burns on anything it strikes. On a critical hit, a shot from an Inferno pistol also inflicts 1 point of burn damage. So it's not too bad. It does use the nanite canisters for ammo, the same as the healing guns.
Oh.
Doesn't make much sense.
Because they don't want you to have nice things.
I was hoping it would use those dumb batteries you bet.
Yeah, it was like, we have the silver discs and batteries for days.
We have like 1,000 of those.
Well, you could re-engineer the gun to fire goo tubes.
So how many nanites are in each canister, Sam?
There are 10 doses in each canister, and then the hypo gun still has 5 charges in it.
Okay. But each round would just use 1 dose of the nanite gun if it were
Yeah.
used inside
The only
pistol.
The only thing that uses more is that lesser restoration.
All right, cool. And does the Inferno pistol have nanites in it still?
I may or may not have forgotten to keep track during the fight, but she probably only has like 2 left.
Okay.
Now, rifling around in that masterwork backpack of Meanda's, buried way deep down in the bottom, kind of tucked under the seam, so you might not even notice it. There's just a little plastic card. And if you pull it out, the strip on it, it's white, which probably means that it's broken. So you throw it away, because that's just garbage. Moving on.
Finally.
Vargas screams, I hate
God.
technology, and crushes it to dust.
She just has a brown one for no reason, worse than everybody else.
Asher
so-
vaults off the platform and runs with the white keycard towards the chest. I've got to know.
Speaking of needing to know, so seeing that the android is well in hand and Asher is probably like adding another gun to the gun pile as we speak, I was kind of interested in what was pulled out of Sandville's head.
Yeah, was her gauntlet that she had anything special, or was that her own body that was letting her do that?
The gauntlet's just a masterwork spiked gauntlet. It's spiced, actually. Taste of cumin.
Cinnamon. Oh, cumin, my bad.
Earthy.
Okay, so that was some ability of hers then that was letting her do whatever she was doing to Sandville's head.
Yeah. So if you go and find the little bloody piece of plastic on the floor that she dug out of Sandville's head, it's very, very small, less than an inch wide and less than an inch deep. You can do a knowledge engineering on that one.
Alrighty. Alright, with a 15 on the die, Brix is a 26.
Ah, nice. You are looking at a piece of cybernetics called a skill slot. A skill slot is a small port implanted into the target's brain, leaving an accessible port at the base of the skull, which is covered by a flap of skin when not in use. Once installed, the skill slot has no effect unless a skill chip is inserted into the port. An inserted skill chip enhances the user's abilities in the skill encoded in the chip. The magnitude to which the skill is enhanced depends upon the power of the skill chip. It does not grant ranks. It takes 10 minutes for a skill chip to adjust itself to a new skill slot, and during this time, the user takes a -2 penalty on all skill checks as distracting sensations flood his mind. Now, there is currently a skill chip in there, and since you got a 26 on the knowledge engineering, I'll just give it to you. This is a Mark 1 knowledge engineering skill chip. So, this tiny card, which basically looks like a micro SD card, inserted into the skill slot, which again gets inserted into your brain, grants a +2 enhancement bonus to knowledge engineering. If it's equipped in your head.
Very cool. So Brix is going to turn around, going to stare down at Sandville, a little confused because it's the first time that he's ever actually seen this technology in real life, but also just a little sad under his breath. Oh, okay. Turn around and say, this little beauty she was pulling out of Sandville's bones is skill slot. It allows you to upgrade your abilities by using chips that interface with your brain. Goes in there and appears to be yanked out of your head summarily if you're killed.
Turns out those delicious potato snacks aren't simply empty calories. Who knew their potential?
I don't think you should eat this, Asher. But thank you for clarifying.
My pleasure.
I don't have any, I think at this juncture, at least the novelty of this technology Brix isn't like, oh yeah, this is me, just yet. I think he's looking kind of warily at this thing that was just, removed from his acquaintance's head just a little while ago.
Yeah.
And that also applies to pretty much everything else. I mean, his eyebrows go up at the white access card, but I'm not particularly interested in anything else. Nothing here is time-worn, so it doesn't need to necessarily go to me. And I've got these cool glasses, which I forgot about.
Does a 26 tell you how one inserts a skill slot? You just jam it in there?
You basically... I'm going to have to look up the rules offline, but there's all sorts of rules for installing cybernetics.
Great, okay. So let's just hang on to that for now. No one needs to put that in their heads.
I mean, who knows where he even got this? Or what else might be in it? Or for now, it's worth holding on to. Obviously, the skill of identifying this technology is useful. So speaking of which, he turns to the reactor itself. So, is this the torch?
Well, it's the right color, at least. Right? Everything is purple here.
Yeah, I mean, this reactor, it's massive, and it's thrumming with power. I There are displays all over the room and different instruments, all tubes hooked into the reactor, running to different devices and machines. Everything's in Androphen, and everything is beat up. Even the reactor itself looks like it's taken a beating. Let me know what you want to do.
Well, this might be a perception check, but do we immediately see anything that doesn't look like it belongs there, or looks like it doesn't belong there? Like, specifically, if we have the power relay, we knew that that was relaying power from down here. Do we see some other sort of thing that looks like
is there
that?
anything stuck to it, basically?
Totally, yeah. Something that, I mean, it's not like we'd know what a normal crashed alien ship reactor looks like, but in case we do, does this fall outside of the norm?
I mean, if you want to roll perception checks to take a look around.
He's dying tonight. This is the second natural one of the night.
It's only a 17 for Bricks.
5 total.
Dirty 20.
With a dirty 20, it looks like everything in here and everything attached to this reactor is old, and, if it hasn't been here for a long time, it's certainly disguised well enough to look like it. But a bunch of the screens are sort of flashing things in Androphen characters that look like warnings. And they look like red, flashy, menacing kind of messages.
Well, that seems like that would be Brixbo's next stop. I don't know what other folks want to do.
Yeah, no, Kira would say, I don't really know what any of this stuff is, but the flashing kind of looks bad. Bricks, sometimes you know weird things. Do you know this weird thing?
Brix will start pulling out some of the papers that he keeps on his belt pouch and smoothing them out in front of the terminal, trying to decipher the Androphen on the screen.
The main thing that you see on most of the screens, just a repeated message that says, Holtz, Agen, Ganitas Teco, failsafe override.
So, do I have any other options there, or is this just I'm just getting this prompt here? Is there anything on the? Okay.
I mean, to be a little bit clear about what you're seeing, it looks like there's a failsafe that wants to click on that is being overridden. Somebody basically is blocking the failsafe from running.
I would love to let the failsafe fail safe. Failsafe do its thing. Yeah.
Well,
You fail safe.
well, in order to fail safely, you're gonna need a disable device check.
Ooh. Here it comes. Let me just make sure. Alrighty. If this happens to be a high-tech or mechanical trap, then we are going to add another 2 onto this. But we are looking at an 18 for the first roll.
With an 18 running through it, I'm gonna need you to make a reflex save.
Oh, yeah. Alright. Let's see. Alright, that is a dirty 20.
Nice. With a dirty 20, Brixby manages to jump out of the way as something sparks as he's messing with one of the monitors, and he takes 4 points of electricity damage.
Ooh,
as
boy.
one of the consoles just blows some component deep down inside itself and shoots an arc across the room.
Well, I can afford to take a few more of those. Kind of cracks his fingers. And we'll take one more whack at the old disably devicing. Oh! Oh!
Nice.
It's a nat 20, making that a 32 in total.
Very nice. So as Brixby's sitting down in front of one of the consoles here, perhaps the console next to the one that just electrocuted him. And the room is just audibly thrumming with this constant woo, 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 woo. And he's clicking and typing around, typing madly, running through all these different things in a language he barely understands. And suddenly, right when he feels like he's got it, there's a heavy, deep bang like thunder inside the reactor. And it rings out once, and twice, and then the lights go out. All of the lights. And then in the two large central columns of the reactor itself, there's a whooshing sound, like a waterfall pouring down from above, filling an empty space. The screens in front of Brixby all blink back to life again at the same time, and the slight illumination now is the only light source in the room. And Drofin characters spell out Akatasak Segura Bihurtsia. Initializing failsafe scrolls across the screen. Heat seems to be building up in the room now, radiating from the tubes, and then purple flames roll up through the translucent tubes, highlighting a web of hairline cracks in the massive aperture with eerie, otherworldly light. The cracks spread and expand as the foremost tube pulses and threatens to burst under the newfound pressure inside, and the screens click and blink, displaying the displays all changing to say, Akatsa Segura Abiatu. Failsafe initiated. In perfect tandem. Both tubes have become solid columns of purple flame, rolling upward like a reverse waterfall. The ground shudders, and the entire deck seems to move down a couple inches from the sheer force of it. The lights all click back on, first dim but steadily brightening up to their former states, and the constant humming that had filled the air the entire time you've been here dies away to a much duller, mechanical... A final message appears on the screen. Larieldico, Eritekoren, Laritsepena, Akipatuta, Sisterik, Egenkorak. You can breathe a sigh of relief. Emergency reactor ventilation engaged. System stable.
Yeah, honestly, up until this point, I'd believe it if Neil Spicer was just like, and if this little jerk rolls a nat 20 right here, we're going to blow this whole thing up. I believe it.
You turn it on too good, and it ignores all the fail-safes and just blows itself up from overpowering.
Well,
we didn't make that check first for structural integrity, and so the whole thing just implodes.
The hairline cracks. Hairline cracks.
Shouldn't have hit it with so many
ion tape was for.
Scorching rays.
Speaking of scorching, you mentioned that it was radiating from the tubes. Yeah. Do we feel anything in this vicinity of the reactor?
We have a little radiation detector, right? And it's time-worn. And we've got a ton of batteries. Let's pull this little guy out. Just give it a little Geiger clicky clicks.
All right, you're going to fire up the radiation detector?
We got a bunch of batteries. Why not?
Got a bunch of batteries.
All right, why don't you give me one of the old roll-a-roos for, or D100 roll-a-roos for
canonically
possible
he always
glitch.
Rolls twice.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, 93 and a 59.
Nice.
All right, well, with a 93, which I believe is what you're going to want here, not only does the radiation detector function normally, a freak power surge inside it recharges the battery.
Hey.
It grants it 4 more charges. So, basically, free charge.
Very cool.
But as you click on the radiation detector, it doesn't look like you're in any danger. It doesn't look like there's any real radiation in the room other than the, reactor with the spotty containment. It's not leaking, is the point.
It's not leaking.
It's not leaking right now.
What's the graph?
It failed safely.
Not good.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Basically, yep. All right, cool. So Vargas and Brixby reenact a couple Chernobyl bits, and then, yeah.
Vargas is in the elevator.
That's true.
Yeah, Vargas just left. He's gone.
Yeah, he ran out of the room as soon as it started lighting up.
So Brixby looks up and is like,
Probably put it back kind of closer.
surprisingly, it's safe in here, at least, from the radiation. I'm still not quite sure what it is, but the amount of things in here designed to inure us from it horrify me. So, yeah. Puts it away.
Vargas will yell through the doorway. Did it work?
Yes.
Let's all respond like we're one singular meshed horrible event horizon. No.
Before we wake our android antagonist, I recommend we move her away from the reactor so she doesn't have an opportunity to slip through our grasp and deactivate it, perhaps.
Okay.
Agreed.
And then Kira just stoops, grabs like just a handful of clothing and throws her over her shoulder.
Yeah,
All right,
I
more
imagine.
bodies.
Well, if Brix is doing all of this kind of investigation of the technical side of things, he just sort of assumed the team muscle and diplomacy would handle the android.
Yeah, I mean, that all that work that Brixby was doing, that took like 20 minutes.
That's what I figured, yeah.
Was her chain shirt, did you say it was magical, or did I just...
No, the chain shirt's mundane.
Okay. Then yeah, while Brixby is just doing his thing that he does best, other than medical professional, yeah, the three of us, I guess, could treat and revive Meanda. I don't know, do we want to wait to revive her till the reactor's back on?
We could use some more of the tape to like tie her to the hand statue too, on top of tying her up.
I do
was
like
thinking
the
we could tie her to the ladder or something at the bottom.
Yeah, something. Well, but we don't want her to be in the reactor room though, right?
Yeah, I kind of think we should get her away from the reactor room. Like, logically, I don't know what she could possibly do, but also, she's scary.
So I was thinking, like, is the hand statue big enough that, like, we could put her in the palm and tie her to
Just
one of the
set her in
fingers? Like,
there.
how big is that thing?
Like one of those chairs from the 90s.
Yeah, it's about big enough that you could fit a person in the palm, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Hellion loves you. He holds you in his hand. And she'll just kind of lullaby while we tie her lovingly to the hand.
Poor Meanda.
And I wonder if we should use regular rope for that in case she has something that can... Because if you run a current through that again, does it go back to not being...
Yeah, it'll go slack and basically become duct
Smart.
tape.
Yeah.
Sky metal.
Yeah, so use the magnet tape like to get her wrists and ankles, and then just use like regular rope to tie her to the statue. Just in case she can do like a pulse or something.
Smart.
Do we need a
I'm probably
CMB for that
overthinking
hog
this. I
tie?
don't know what androids can do. I never bothered to try to build one. I should have. I could have cheated and known what all her abilities were.
When you're restraining somebody, do we need to make a CMB roll to know what her DC would be to escape?
I believe
Is that how it works?
the DC...
Or is it like survival or something?
I believe the DC
20,
is
like
just
to
the
tie her up.
CMD of the person who ties her up.
Okay.
Isn't it plus something for the rope? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I thought it was like 20 plus the CMB.
I mean, I don't know for sure, but I think that it's the CMD of the person who ties her up, because it's usually
That makes sense.
mechanically the best idea to have the strongest person do the tying. So it's the hardest CMD.
If you have a target pinned or otherwise restrained or unconscious, you can use rope to tie her up. This works like a pin effect, but the DC to escape the bond is equal to 20 plus your combat maneuver bonus instead of your CMD.
Oh, okay.
The ropes do not need to make a check every round to maintain the pin. If you're grappling the target, you can attempt to tie her up in ropes, but doing so requires a combat maneuver check and a -10 penalty. So it's 20 plus your CMB.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty high.
Kira the Strong.
Yeah, I can
tie her up.
But I don't know that she's going to leave Bricks in the room by himself. So just, Vargas, you want to switch places? I promise it's not elevators in here.
He's gonna go, not really, but okay. And he'll come back in here.
Yay. Okay, and then we'll just tie some rope there, and we did it.
Now, I know normally you reserve stickers for your companions. Do you have any "I'm sorry you were embarrassingly defeated, so close to achieving your ultimate machinations" stickers?
It's funny that you would ask, because actually Joanne's just had a sale on weirdly specific stickers like 2 weeks ago, and I got one for this. Hang on. And she'll pull out a sticker and give it to Meanda, and then be a little bit disappointed. It's like, sorry you were really embarrassingly defeated, so close to something machinations. Does this work?
Yes. I'm hoping that if she wakes up and sees that we're not sort of bragging about our victory, but instead are potential allies, it may circumstantially aid us in our interrogation.
So should I give her another sticker?
I wouldn't overdo it, but maybe you could compliment her hair or something. Probably mean more coming from you.
Cool.
It's like top tier radio.
So then we wake her up.
All right. So healing her enough to bring her back to consciousness?
Yeah. Asher has, according to my notes from a month ago, I have 1 lay on hands remaining. So that'll only do a d6. I don't know if that'll even be enough, but I could try.
Yeah, go for it.
And it's 5 little kitty paw prints on this Holy Nexus d6.
She is still out.
Well, that was the last
tried.
of my divine energies. I suppose we'll rest, and then tomorrow I can do this more times.
She isn't going anywhere.
We have some extra potions. Although she did try to kill you and Vargas.
I mean, well, I had the thought of perhaps taking her back to a cleric whose channels wouldn't adversely affect our own resources. But now that we have what surely will unlock the greatest treasures under this mountain in our hands, I'd be loath to leave and return to the surface without first unlocking that. We could just wait until we're ready to go.
I'm pretty good at carrying unconscious bodies. I don't want to brag, but we decide to go that route. She'll be like a fun pet villain.
I don't know how to respond to that. And neither does Jeff.
That was perfect. You nailed it. Both Asher and Jeff. Great job.
All right, so you're leaving Meanda bound there for the time being?
Yeah, not totally unsupervised. That just screams this one got away, and like Garmin's gonna reappear from being invisible this entire time and just run off with her. And I will be just livid.
I mean, we could always tie her to one of the rolly office chairs and just drag her
Push her around.
Just one with like one wheel that doesn't work really well. So it's a really bumpy ride.
I kind of like bringing her with us, or at least leaving someone here, which seems like the worst idea.
Yeah, I mean, we can bring her along. Hey, this is morbid-ish. Do androids need to breathe?
No, know they don't in Starfinder. I don't know if they do or not in Pathfinder.
That's what I wasn't sure about. We got
her in the bag of
Hundo P.
holding?
Put her in that bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure either way. I don't see any. I mean, they're not specifically immune to like suffocation, but I don't know that that's a specific effect that's called out in Pathfinder. But I mean, since we know they don't breathe in Starfinder, I would say no, she doesn't have to breathe.
Oh, yeah.
Roll her up and put her in there. We can even give her the dead friend blanket. Do we still have the dead friend blanket? Yeah, we wouldn't have gotten rid of that.
Dead friends and live enemies.
Yeah, okay. So we'll, just pop her in the bag of holding.
I think it's a great idea. Like it.
Crap, I just found the answer to a question I was wondering about. The Chiskin Artificer does not gain any bonuses from items that would normally increase the damage of an unarmed attack. Because I was wondering if I could wear that spike gauntlet, but it would not stack with my killer punching.
Would it let
thought
your
of it.
punches be piercing?
I don't know. It just says that it doesn't gain bonuses, and then it gives an example like an Amulet's a Mighty Fist type thing. It says it doesn't gain any bonuses from anything that would give a bonus to unarmed.
I think it makes sense if it would let you change the damage type, though, to like piercing or slashing. But I don't know.
Gains no benefit from items that enhance unarmed strikes. Yeah, because it would change it to piercing. Which, to be fair, I can do as a thing, but I have to take a ability to do that. Which I was planning to take eventually anyway, but not yet.
I don't think we've been confronted with a ton of like piercing overcomes this DR sort of thing nearly as much as we've already addressed with like the adamantine. I think it's worth bringing. You can always pop it on if we have a weird use for it.
And somebody else could always use it too, because it's good if someone's weapon gets knocked out of their hand or something.
Yeah, totally.
So we're making a Roborito, and then are we gonna... Is it like very bad and gamey that I'm just like, and we disregard everything, including the torch being on, go directly into the elevator and directly to the white keycard room? Because I want to know, just like Jeff, so bad. I know Brixby would probably be just staring at the reactor for like 30 minutes straight, just genuflecting in the soft glow. But like,
I feel like Vargas would want to be interrogating her about Hellion. Meanwhile, I, the player, want to be in that room with those blood jellies, dual wielding those crossbows we stole from those rats so we can find out what's in there.
Yeah, I'd like to open all the things. Kira's pretty stoked about the torch, but Izzy wants to see all of the rooms. How do we make both of those things happen?
We have whole decks we haven't explored. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's 2 other floors, aren't there?
Yeah, we have 2 whole decks we have to explore. We have the room to the south, which has robots directly to the south of us right now. But I mean, you know,
It's got me wondering, like, from the character's point of view, would they want to go back up and see if the torch is lit before checking these other rooms, or would they, like, I'm honestly trying to think what.
Well, I think our
do.
interaction with Sandville makes me say no, because up until this point I would have said yes. But the second that Sandville told us there's like a a ticking clock on the Technic stuff, I feel like Brix would want to get everything out of here, known, whatever, before we get topside. Because like,
I think it would be fun to go back up and just convince everybody else in town to tell the League the torch never went out, so they get here in like 3 days. And it's working,
what do you
and we're like,
mean?
yeah, no, Sandville's just nuts.
yeah, he took on a whole like team of half-orcs and Yosoki. He just went crazy.
That guy. No, Kira would want to see the torch back on, but I think she can be easily convinced otherwise. Can we take a 20 in awe and genuflection? Is that... Do you need to... That's not what we could just say, I'm doing it.
You automatically
Searching this
pass
room.
that check. It's a DC 1.
Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's just like part of me would assume that like, oh wow, okay, maybe this is it. Maybe the reactor is on. But we don't know if there's like comparable rooms on other floors. I mean, me, the player, feels like we beat the boss. We're on the engineering floor. This is probably all we have to do. But I would also say one of the other arguments against us is rushing outside to see if the reactor is on. Is we don't even know if we've touched all the buttons. We did our power reset once, and now we've done a fail safe. We don't know if there's anything else under here that, right?
This would be a lot easier.
Yeah, do we even know? Because there's at least one more room on this level we haven't looked at, right? Because wasn't there supposed to be a room full of broken robots?
Yeah, robot room to the south.
Yeah.
So that would be it's a potential battle. That's something
Well, I'm
for
just
us to
thinking
think
like
about
other
soon,
places
right?
where there could be, like for all we know, there could be 5 of these things we have to turn back.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, totally. We don't know how many of these there potentially are. I still think this is probably the only one, and there's a good chance that we've got it done. But, again,
I'm just trying to think like in character, like our characters wouldn't know how many engines this thing would have. We don't know what an engine is.
I mean,
But-
we did see the holo table with the full schematics of the ship. Is my only argument against that. Is now true, we super don't know how this vessel works, but we would at least have been able to see whether this was
there
the
were other
only
rooms like
reactor
this one,
room
yeah.
or if there was another one.
This is true. But there's still the power room that we even saw the schematics in the first place. So there might, I don't know. I agree with you
Go
again.
up there and
like,
hit another button or something now that we got this running.
in my heart of hearts, I feel like we'd probably run outside and see a beautiful torch throwing in the sky. But I don't know. I feel like we're just under here, man. Plus, he can't be us to give us another water breathing. That's just one water breathing too far.
Unfortunately, that's the same slot as his heal Connor one, so he can't give us any more.
Yeah.
So I guess
I
maybe
just
in
keep
character.
thinking I want to text someone in town and be like, "Hey, is the torch on?" But
Yeah, Vargas pulls out his cell phone.
it's like no
He's
service.
got a
we're
2005 Motorola Razr.
So, I mean, I think if at this point, we're all done, everything, you're sliding me on the end of the back. This is on. Things are normal. Everything's normal with the very capable 4. I think Bricks will go. So, I don't want to speak too soon, but this might have done the right trick. That said, we don't know what else is down here, or if this actually did it or not. We have a room on this floor, and 2 floors we haven't seen. What would you all like to do?
Do we think it would be worth it to wake her up now? Maybe ask her if what we did turned the torch back on. If she's really is the one that turned it off, she would know, wouldn't she?
Yeah, but what if she lies to us?
Yes. My concern exactly.
Oh, so I guess we're all out here now. Otherwise, we're just yelling at each other across rooms.
Just shouting through the doorways across the ship now that it's so quiet.
What do you think we should do?
I would sincerely like to find out what was behind this white keycard strip in that chest. We know at least one gearsman might be operational in the robot room. And if we are to, in our current state, embark on another potentially lethal combat, we are starting at a disadvantage. If there's more healing nanites or weaponry or something like that could restore us as much as possible, chances are if they're anywhere on the decks we've explored so far, it's in that chest, or it could be empty, in which case I would have sent a very nasty email to one Neil Spicer.
There could also be some type of healing on one of the floors of this building was quarters, wasn't it? It was living space. There could be something there too.
Yeah, I mean, part of me just wants, if we're going up to get the white key card, just rush out and see if we've done the thing. But maybe let's just go there first then, right? Because I agree with you. We're in no shape to face accusement right now.
Go to the quarters?
Yeah, or the key card room.
Key card first.
Key card. The floor we already know, which is like all the way up, right? And then we can... we make our call from there, what we find in there. We can even get dicey and play with the fungus or the blood gushers.
We're not doing anything with that friggin' fungus. That thing is going to kill us. He can stay in his room. The blood gushers we can probably take care of now that we have all the little rat crossbows.
It's true.
All right, so you headed up to the science deck.
I think so. Believe so.
Sounds good.
One quick ride in the elevator. The girl from Ipanema plays once more. And you find your...
The elevator takes us right to the bedroom.
Yeah, weirdly, it just sort of dumps you off sideways in that bedroom.
Oh God, I didn't see the X's on those for a second and thought there were more Vegapygmies.
Oh no.
They've grown back. So Asher sprints out of the elevator, straight over to the closet, top speed, crazed look in his eyes.
Well, Brixby, you certainly have a knack for opening locked things. If there's anyone among us most qualified to do the honors, it's you.
Oh, no, my friend. We've waited too long. This requires none of my dolphin around. You just give it a little slide. Go for it.
And he kind of grins a little bit, and yes, he will kind of saunter up there, and he'll swipe it, and it's backwards. And he just kind of wipes it on his shirt, and then turns it around and swipes it correctly.
It just says, this is a chip card. You're like, oh, God, oh, man.
What does NFC stand for? Non-functional card.
Error, swipe again. So
There you go.
you swipe the white key card. The battered, oversized locker beeps. A little green light flashes on, and the top pops open.
All right, make a reflex save.
No explosions.
Is it full of goo tubes?
Are you looking inside?
No,
Asher
we
peers-
figured this is all we really wanted. I feel pretty satisfied.
Just a satisfaction.
We just wanted to open it.
Where are you
We
going?
don't care what's in it.
Sure,
I haven't
makes
looked
sense.
inside yet.
Well, inside there is a very beat up, weird green handheld gun-looking thing. There are 4 little metal cylinders about palm-sized, and there is a sort of a bodysuit, like a white bodysuit with lots of pockets and straps and things. They are all knowledge engineering.
13 for the first thing from Brixby.
21 on the weird beat-up green gun-looking thing.
The weird beat-up green gun-looking thing is a time-worn stun gun. This weapon uses a sonic amplifier to produce powerful low-frequency blasts of energy that pummel targets. The weapon has a relatively short range, but the fact that it deals non-lethal damage at range and can knock targets prone makes it a favorite for those seeking to capture their foes alive. A hit by a stun gun deals non-lethal damage, and a critical hit comes with a free trip combat maneuver attempt against the target, which doesn't provoke attacks of opportunity.
That's cool. What is it used for charges? Batteries?
Yeah, batteries.
Cool. All right, for the next thing. It's an 18.
25.
Going to be interesting to get through any descriptions with dog barking directly above my head, but we'll see what we can do. So the tubes, or the cylinders rather, are small cylindrical devices that appear to be designed to be thrown as splash weapons or fired from some kind of device that fires such things. They are in fact grenades. Before being thrown by hand, the grenades must be primed with a quick twist of the dial at one end, and then armed with a click of a button at the center of the dial. Priming and arming a grenade is a free action. The grenade detonates at the beginning of the wielder's next turn, hopefully in the area targeted. When the grenade detonates, it damages all targets within a 20-foot radius spread. Successful DC 15 reflex save halves any damage. And the items you found here are 2 bang grenades, which deal no damage but stagger creatures for any creature hit by them for 1 round and deafen them for 1d4 rounds. You got 2 of those. 1 flash grenade, which blinds creatures for 1d4 rounds. And 1 soft grenade, which deals 5d6 points of non-lethal damage.
That is what I would name a grenade.
It's
That doesn't kill you.
It's
Just a little baby grenade.
It's like a hug.
Not a stun grenade or a riot grenade. It's a soft
It's a
grenade.
soft grenade. Come on. It
feels
barely does
cuddles.
anything.
It's like a hug
I
explosion.
had a Nerf gun that fired those before.
An aerosol can. Gently warmed in the sun.
And then there's just the bodysuit.
And don't put your aerosol cans in the sun, kids. The only thing that you should gently warm in the solar rays is a tube of Go-Gurt before you take it down. Make sure that you keep that Go-Gurt warm.
Absolutely.
For Izzy's sake.
God, don't put this on me. No.
That's another 25 on engineering. Sandstorm D20's been rolled hot. Thanks, Norse
Very
Foundry.
nice. You are looking at a suit of Neroplast armor. This is a lightweight, form-fitting bodysuit that features a variety of pocket straps and a built-in interface for automatically adjusting the various colors and patterns on its fabric. Selecting a color or pattern is a full-round action that consumes 1 charge and provokes an attack of opportunity. Capable of cycling through dozens of hues, this armor can be used to adopt sophisticated camouflage patterns that grant a +3 competence bonus on stealth checks. Whenever the wearer enters a terrain of significantly different coloration or background patterns, the armor must be recalibrated to its current area to maintain its bonus.
I heard confidence bonus, and I was like, that's great. It's a very slimming armor.
It's a competence bonus, but yeah.
Snap that.
It's also +2 AC, +8 max dex, and no armor check penalty, and spell failure of 5%.
It can be good for Asher.
Nice.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I mean, situation.
I mean, unless you'd rather have something heavier. I was just thinking, like, it'd be good stealthy thing.
I could see that coming in handy. Right now, I'm reluctant to part with the 5 AC, and I know that the real reason is Vargas wants that +1 chain shirt. But I'm like, only a 5% chance for Brixbow on an arcane spell failure. That's pretty neat.
Oh yeah, that's right. Brixby's a rogue.
This is
Does
true.
that fit a Yosoki?
But I assumed it was a medium size.
Yeah, it's medium. You'd have to
All
get
those
it
belts and straps.
resized.
You could cinch it.
Love the idea of it being all like tight and strappy in some places with like the absolute diaper sag in the center.
It's parachute
I know.
It doesn't do the thing like the jacket in Back to the Future 2 where it, like, the sleeves all suck up to fit.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this is just another cool, like, throw it in the bag with the robot sort of thing. Because, you know, we don't really have a dedicated sneaky tactic per se. I'd love to say that I would stealth around, but we've seen what happens when I stealth up to things. Like, I don't want to encourage me to do that. And plus
Well, now
2
you have a
armor.
plus 2 AC.
I know, that's definitely not worth not having my mage armor on. Oh boy.
Yeah,
Well,
and does it count as armor? Can you wear mage armor with it, or does it count as clothing, or does it count
It
as
counts
armor?
as armor, so mage armor would basically
Wouldn't work.
replace
yeah, that
it.
stinks. Yeah. Darn.
well, so, I mean,
And it's nice that it does friggin' +8 for your... So you can have a real high dex and still get your full bonus.
Yeah, so it's good for somebody super dex.
But nobody here really has like a... Does anybody here have a very high dex though?
I have Asher and I both have pretty
Asher,
high
yeah.
dexes. I have a 16.
18.
Yeah, dex focused character there.
But I think even with your dex bonus, that's still not going to be as good as your chainmail though, right? Yeah.
No, my chain shirt
Or chain shirt. I mean.
is perfect. It's light. It's magical. Kind of cuts a nice figure underneath the desert wrappings.
That one does give you a plus 3 confidence bonus.
I don't know. I want that. Yeah, the confidence bonus, the stupid, sexy Flanders confidence bonus.
I mean, with the other one under it though, you'd look like Vasha Stampede with the shirt made out of belt underneath the duster.
Wow. So are these pockets like filled with healing potions or nanite tubes?
Sadly,
What's
no.
in the pockets?
It
of
was
the
only a
robes?
box of bombs.
Which I think Asher should hold on to, frankly. I
I'll
don't
probably
know.
slot them into my bandolier. I don't know if they're a little bit too big or not.
As a fun side
It
note,
look-
when you were all originally messing with this box and there was talk of Kira smashing it open with a hammer, the text does account for that, since you would be hitting a box of bombs with a hammer. So he could have.
Good
Spicy
for us.
Neil. Oh, Neil. Man. All right. Well, Brix is going to turn to the party. That flame of curiosity quenched. What do we feel like doing? Right on the other side, he hits the wall above the the trunk. Right on the other side of this are those horrible blood balloons. I don't know if we want to try to take them out and check that room out next.
The leprosy pinatas, as they were referred to.
Indeed, I believe so. Yeah, I forgot about that. It's just like straight up leprosy, not fantasy leprosy, just
No.
leprosy. Yep.
So, out of character question that Asher would know the answer to, as would Brixby and Kira. How the brightness of the torch's illumination, would it be bright enough to where if we just got towards like the mouth of the cave and didn't actually get out of the river, we'd be able to see it? Or would we need to actually swim out, look up and be like, yep?
Yeah, you'd probably have to get at least pretty close to the surface since the water is so murky and clouded.
Okay. Wonder about
We
that
could just-
dome in the desert though. Were we able to see it? No, I had an artificial
It
sky.
was, yeah, that was fake sky.
I mean,
So, is that the official artwork for that armor?
Yeah, that's straight out of the book.
Because it's only got like 4 pockets and no straps. It doesn't look anything like the description.
I don't know what to tell you.
there it is.
It does look like your sort of starship kind of flight suit.
Yeah, just
It's got
Yeah.
cargo pockets, man. It's got like the dad cargo pocket, and then got the lower.
yeah,
I
but
was,
it's
like,
got
on the
2 of them.
calf.
It's got less cargo pockets than real cargo pants in real life.
I would agree. I would agree with you. The stun gun looks super cool because it looks like a dragon or like a reptile mouth, sort of. You know what I mean?
Alligator friend, I think
Alligator
it's been
friend.
deemed.
I didn't even see that. Fun. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's got the little eye.
Does look like the Needler. That's funny. So, do you guys think we're in good enough shape to get into a fight with anything? Because here's the thing. If we go into any of these rooms, we're going to do another floor we don't know. We're going to get into a fight. Like, there's going to be one. It could be the blood bags. could be the fungus, could be something else, could be the robot. But like, are we in the shape to do that? Do we want to go out
I have
0 spell. Well, I could bring back 1 spell through my arcane bond right now, but typical to Brixby, got a bunch of new spells, use them all immediately.
I have 2 level 1 spells and 3 health.
Well, there we go. Seems like a good answer.
I guess the answer is yes. Let's find something.
I'm 13 out of 28, like half to. I mean, sorry, should be doing this IC. I don't know if I'm up for another fight. I've used most of my resources, and wow, what we found in this trunk is interesting, as you were assuming it would be, Asher, and would give us the edge on many enemies. I don't know if it's going to make the difference. He looks back at looks back at Vargas, who is like probably trying to reattach the junk to his broken arm, just kind of packing it in there, taking a little bit of that like zip tape or the ion tape. It's just like, yep, this will be fine until I cast Shocking Grasp next, and then it'll all fall apart. But yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I think that like, I know this totally gainsays everything I just said, but I think Brix actually would like to go out and see if the torch got turned on, get healed, and if we didn't make it, then like, if we didn't do it, then whatever. I mean, we definitely got to rest. We just beat the boss and a gargoyle, so that's pretty cool.
It might be better to rest in town where there's priests that can heal us without us having to use up all of our stuff, and just because the torch is back on doesn't mean we're not allowed to go back into the mountain.
Right, yeah. I think Kira's going along with the party because she likes the party, but she is 110% just... If we run into something else, I can fight, but I don't want to. We need to check on the torch.
Only other thing I'm thinking is, what do we do with Marcellus Wallace, or whatever her name is? Like, what
Maria?
goes on with Mianda? Are we just leaving her in here and risking her possibly getting loose? Or are we taking her with us and hoping that androids can't drown?
I mean, stuff doesn't get wet in the bag of holding.
No.
And I mean,
I
if
guess
she,
we can shove her in the
if
bag.
she's not going to breathe. I thought that's where she was already. So if like she's already not breathing in there, then I think we just literally keep her on pause.
I didn't know we actually did it. I thought we were just discussing putting her in the bag. I didn't realize we
The
actually...
very
Very
capable floor. Very capable of making jokes reality.
Wrapped her in the blanket, shoved her in the bag, as you do.
Yeah, no, Roborito. We did it, and we are... Yeah, I think that, honestly, I mean, we have an septuagenarian, whatever.
Octogenarian Zach.
The octogenarian with the hammer, a couple different, and possibly Connor's brain is working. We don't even know about that. Connor might also be able to help out in this
Like a
situation.
centenarian at this point, but
True.
as much as I'm certainly curious to explore the rest of this place, I agree. Utilizing the divine resources in town to restore us and resting to recover our own abilities. I am concerned, as I'm sure we all are, that Sandville has already contacted his Gartone connection at the Technix League, but presumably they won't arrive tomorrow morning, so we still have an opportunity to return.
And even if they did, if we were to face them under here, healed only by our own resources, yeah, we wouldn't be as lucky as we've been so far. I agree with you. Technically, even no, we're better off healed in town, reprovisioned.
If we think they're coming, shouldn't we tell someone?
I think we'll
can't-
tell everybody. Sorry.
We can't stop them, but we can, I don't know, shout from the rooftops. Not literally, but maybe literally. I know some good shouting rooftops.
And I am a vertical leap champion, as has been discussed. So if anyone were to be able to get on the rooftops, although you are now the tallest, according to your sticker,
I do have a sticker.
I may have the jump on you.
That's a good Star Wipe transition as any right there.
Montage of us trudging along the bottom, holding our breath.
Still laughing. Astro's still just like a dad, so satisfied with his joke. Just every
That's
5 minutes, just like
110% what I thought. Like, I
Jump
just
on
You know,
it.
I was looking up also just for the heck of it how exactly the bag of holding kills somebody, and it has 10 minutes of air. So
She's
if we
fine.
figure like we could
Pop it
pull her
open.
out of the bag and then stick her back in every 8 minutes or so, and she'd be fine. Like we can retcon and say that if we find out later on that, oh wait, no, she does need to breathe.
It's a pretty significant retcon, but why not?
One other
I'll just
question.
crack the bag open.
Do you have, are you leaving the bodies of, like, Sanville and Gerald that you found down here? You haul it? Or are you coming up with a couple corpses in addition to an unconscious robot or cyborg?
I thought
Or android?
so. I think the last time that we had talked about this, we had talked about it in terms of we would like bring them close to the front, but we figured we'd just kind of leave them for other people to come and get because they don't really need adventurers to carry dead bodies.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's also our thing. And like we did just, if we turned on the torch, coming back with not one dead body, but 2 would be really like.
You mean totally
I don't know, I
dampen
did
the
the
mood?
Boys to Men thing there, but like, yeah,
Oh, it's
no,
not-
it would completely dampen the mood. Not Motown Philly at all. Yeah, I don't think we should probably bring them up. I think it's probably better off to just kind of leave them near the Golden Beetles. We're coming back tomorrow, right?
Yeah,
You
it'll be
could tell
fine.
old, what's his name? It's super hot in my office at the Chapel of the Wanderer. Like, hey, we got some stuff here, robots. Wink.
Yeah. Yeah, Sandville always wanted to be a robot. Now he gets his wish.
It's true.
Father Radley turned him into a... Is Radley the Wanderer one?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so we've been trudging, Sam. Is it on or not, man?
All right.
I don't even care if the youth are there. I just need to know.
Well, you're trudging, and you're trudging slowly because it's this dramatic moment. You have to trudge slowly back through, the desert tunnel, then the Skulk Caves, and there's no skulks there, and that makes you a little bit sad and nostalgic. And then, you walk out through the rest of the caves and out into the water. And then about that time, as you start, heading for the surface, I run out of ways to stall and go to bed.
Damn.
Ah!
Sam.
Oh, you're the worst. Knew it. God darn it.
It's not coming. There it is. There it is. All right. Well, I hope
Good
your
night,
night is
Sam.
fine.
Only the good deserve rest, Sam.
Good night,
You
Sam.
stay up for 1 week and wait for us to get back.
Good night, Sam.
Against the machine. Against the machine.
Pod Against the Machine is property of its creators, all rights reserved. Pathfinder and the Iron Gods Adventure Path are properties of Paizo Publishing. Please visit them at paizo.com for more information. Theme Against the Machine written and performed by our own Zach. Please consult the show notes for additional music and sound effect licensing information.
Go, 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 go,
I totally botched a thing I was going to do before this, but it's alright. I'll add it in post.
Was that thing give us all sky medals?
Probably.
We can do that in pre.
Yeah, you can do that right now. We won't tell anybody, or we will tell whoever, whichever
if
you
want
prefer.
us to.
We already did that
I could just-
Have a
once.
sky medal.
All I have to do is edit back in from 29, like, and I would be remiss if I didn't award, and then just like, Izzy, Zach, Jiro. Sky medals for hitting level 4. That'd be
Yeah,
great.
if we just have Sam saying sky medal, we can drop it every time. So it's like, sky
Fair.
medal. Sky medal. We're like, wow,
We're
generous.
eventually just gonna get your entire voice together, like the guy that made Stephen Hawking's thing.
It's
And
true.
we don't even need the GM anymore. We could just have like this big touchpad of like sounds.
All sky metal.
It doesn't appear to be trapped.
Oh man, I'm not even on the right map. What am I doing? I'm not even in the right book right now. Alright. Okay, I've recovered.
All right, about a solid 8 minutes of pregame banter in, according to my audacity.
Some rich stuff for the bloopers, where literally every joke I attempt is met with silence and awkward.
GooTube. Sorry.
Oh,
It's been a
mark
long
it.
time. It's been a long
Mark
time.
it.
It's been like literal months.